Right, I'm with Senator Farnham again, and we discussed previously about electoral reform, and you brought a petition about the senators, but the final proposal has come from the Commission, and you are still an endangered species as a senator. You're going to be eliminated. How do you feel about the situation now?
A bit like a dodo, actually. One of the last remaining. I'm still really mulling over the final proposals, and I think it's a great shame that the island-wide mandate in the office of Senator has been given very little airplay in the whole issue. It's just presumed to be gone. No questions, no debate, no checking of the public opinion, and I think that's a great shame.
Well, there hasn't even been really a discussion about the role of the deputies, fine enough, which will also disappear, but because the name deputy is presumed to survive, everybody assumes deputies are going to survive, but they're going to be as dead as the dodo, same as the senators.
Well, it would be a complete change and a completely new type of states member elected by a super constituency, but maintaining the same name as before.
Is there any movement that you're aware of for senators or others to fight this proposal?
I had a tremendous amount of support when I tried to block the reduction in senators without proper public consultation, and I still have a lot of that support. I've been contacted by a number of people, probably numbering into the hundreds actually since the Electoral Commission has been doing their work. So I think there is some sensible concern out there.
Do you think it'll...
How will it manifest?
It's quite a short timetable. They've got to get this through and up to referendum and agreed it's...
I know. I am considering bringing an amendment to what will be the PPC's proposition on referendum questions, which will introduce a question about the island-wide mandate. And we've got to remember that the referendum will not be binding, although it would be foolish, in my opinion, for the Assembly not to accept what the public decide. And I hope there is a good public turnout. I hope we see an improvement on the elections with this referendum, because it's, after
Before it gets to the referendum, and the states are back now, first of the new year, first meeting, do you get any basic feeling, because states members must be waking up to the reality of what's being proposed? I mean, if the constables are eliminated, everybody will lose their seat. Everybody.
States members are very good at keeping their cards fairly close to their chest, but the impression I'm getting at the moment is that I think members, because they don't feel the recommendations are right yet, are likely to vote for option C, which would of course be to change nothing.
Right.
Well, I say that if the public, if the members are representative of the public thoughts, then I think that could manifest itself in the referendum result.
Because I'm sure, I mean, I've spoken to deputies, and I don't think they realise the implications. Some of them are elected on 300 votes and this sort of thing. They knock on a few hundred doors and they get elected. They don't realise that they're going to have constituencies of 13,000 voters. Now, senators don't knock on 13,000 doors because it's an all-island affair. The thing is much publicised. It's relatively, for the size of it, a much easier affair. It's 12 parishes and all the rest of it. We know the system. But for deputies to be knocking on 13,000 votes, and they're going to have to do it, they're going to be forced to. There's no party system to support them. It's going to be a remarkably difficult thing to achieve.
Elections, even deputies' elections in the current constituency setup are arduous at the best of times.
Districts 3, those ones, the large town districts, very difficult.
I was St Saviour too. That's quite a large district, and I remember when I stood in 1999, it was very hard work indeed.
And it could be 7 seats, I think they're talking about, in those large districts. So that would be a lot of candidates.
5 or 7.
Yeah, 5 or 7. That's right. It would be a lot of candidates. Awful lot of literature floating around. I don't think people realise what the implication is.
No, and I think they're starting to, as the process has built up, more and more people are starting to say, hang on a second, I didn't realise this and I didn't realise that.
And the merging, of course, as we don't rehearse the whole thing, the merging of St Saviour's and another parish, and they don't necessarily want to be merged with that parish for electoral purposes.
Logistically, it's very difficult. And funnily enough, last night I was studying the numbers and looking for other ways of joining the parishes. And if you want to have the super constituency basis, then I think what they've suggested is the best way you can do it to keep numbers equal. However, there is some concern about how St Martin correct me if I'm wrong, would be St Martin parishioners would feel, I think, lost being subsumed in the St Saviour district, and that's come from a number of parishioners in these smaller parishes, and of course their deputies. So I think the country deputies might not favour the unions as suggested.
One of the odd things, and the commission presumably is now dead, finished. That's it. It's been put to sleep. That's the end. It's done its job. That's the end.
I think
of it.
it's still there. I think until the whole process is finished and something is decided upon. Because if something is not decided upon, clearly I'm not sure what will happen.
Well, they were saying at the last presentation, or the final presentation, that their funds that they've got left in the kitty, they're going to make available for groups, if groups want to form, to campaign on specific issues. That's a rather novel aspect for Jersey.
That's probably a good idea, actually. It would enable people, it would give them some platform and some support to be heard. I think it's a good idea.
But you won't be leading one?
I may be. I'm reluctant to say, because I haven't decided yet, because there are so many alternatives available. But what I would like the public to be asked about the island-wide mandate. I think it's important. I've been called by Senator Bell, I should die in the ditch supporter of the Senator. Well, I'm not. I am a die in the ditch supporter, though, of delivering to the public an option to choose a new system.
The last great debate on Plemmel, of course, was ironic, because it actually made everything an all-island issue, didn't it?
It did.
And constables were getting messages from all over the island. Constables weren't just receiving parish messages, and deputies the same, and senators the same. Everybody was getting messages from all over the island.
Yeah, they were, and of course I felt entirely comfortable with my island-wide mandate in taking a completely clear and open-minded view of the situation. Had I been a St One deputy or a town deputy, I probably would have felt compromised. In fact, town deputies, who shall remain nameless, said they were reluctant to support it because it would fly in the face of the town opinion.
Okay, we shall leave that one as well, just there. But no doubt we shall come back to it again. Thanks for your help.
Thanks.
Bye.